Welcome back. This is another video from your Roaring Peacock LUFC fan channel. I hope you liked the naming of the fan channel. I hope you appreciate the branding. So coming up in this is a main cast. So we do this every week. We basically review the week. In this episode, we'll be reviewing Arsenal. We'll be looking ahead to Wolves. We'll be talking about how, Ross's irrational hate of pancakes. And there's the LGBT comments that have been coming up on Twitter for absolutely no reason. So all of that and more. We've got a new segment with stats. So stick around for that. I honestly, I don't really know how to ask you to subscribe any more than you've done. So you're probably not, if you haven't done it by now, you probably don't care. Fair enough, really. All right, Here we go. The following podcast contains some strong language and some very average opinions. Any references to actual people are wildly inaccurate. It's probably best if you don't listen at all. The Roaring Peacock Podcast. Welcome back to the Roaring Peacock main cast. Coming up in main cast number 23, we'll be looking backwards at the Arsenal game and Josh Warrington. We'll be looking ahead to Wolves. We'll be talking about Ross's irrational hate of pancakes. And we'll be expanding on our Don't Be a Racist Cunt project to shrink it, actually. Remove one of the words. And now it's just Don't Be a Cunt. So hope you like that. And that's in response to some comments from the LGBT tweet that was sent out by the club today. And they all came out of the woodwork as people accuse us of jumping on the bandwagon after Leeds got promoted. How we could do that. What absolute bastards, just trying to cash in. Working.
We're the problem here.
Yeah. Doing all this work for nothing. Okay. Before we start this podcast, we just want to say how incredibly sorry we were to hear about Grandma Val. Since the documentary and through socials and various television spots, we've come to see her as kind of everyone's nan. And we sincerely wish Calvin and his family all the best, and we really hope to hear some good news soon.
100%. Get well soon, Val.
Yeah, get well soon, Val. You're an amazing lady, what you've had to go through and with your family and stuff. So we're all behind you.
Yeah, we love you, Val. Okay, so I'll introduce those voices in a second. But first, the week began with the club announcing Easter trials for boys in school years 1 to 10. Let's hope it's not as grueling as the trials Jesus went through on actual Easter, allegedly. Or the trials we put children through each year with the Easter egg hunt, where we've already eaten all the chocolate, but tell the kids the eggs are just really hard to find. And Super Sunday turned out to be not so super after all, as Josh Warrington was sent crashing to the canvas the night before, and Arsenal extended the Whites' run of winless trips to London past 1,163 days. 3-0 down at half-time was enough to spoil any weekend. But, like the Leeds Warrior, though well beaten on the night, the team kept on fighting and can be proud of their spirit. And the under-23s made it 8 wins in a row and maintained a 10-point lead at the top of Premier League 2 Division 2. If you haven't seen the goals, the third goal is worth the wait. An absolute worldie. And for more on the under-23s, don't forget to check out our youth pod. And all the homophobic keyboard warriors were out in force today, proving why we need LGBT History Month, as the club tweeted out the details of a Marching Out Together raffle. Some people say this is an education problem. We see it more as an evolution problem. When they develop thumbs, then we can talk about education. And in non-Leeds related news across the pond, it was Trump's up for the former president, who has got off scot-free. Politicians having no backbone, eh? Who would have thought?
Who'd have thought?
Still, he can focus on what he's terrible at: golf. And what he's talented at: eating an extraordinary amount of fast food and bathing in fake tan. While back home, it has come as a massive shock that Dominic Cummings has given government contracts to his mates. The fact he is corrupt didn't shock us at all, of course. It was the news that he had friends, which has left us speechless. And Brentford have decided to stop taking the knee. So it seems like taking the knee is quite a bit like getting promoted. It's just not for everybody. And framing Britney Spears, unlike its namesake, was released this week. It features a podcast about the star's Instagram called Britneygram, and an anonymous phone message from someone claiming to be in the know, and a succession of witnesses who all make huge claims while admitting they have no evidence. It's impossible not to feel sympathy for Britney, though, with the paparazzi hounding her, but the whole film was summed up by one interviewee's comment: "We don't know what we don't know." As Britney wishes she could get control of her life, you're just left wishing you could get that hour back. You can tell I've just watched it and I hated it.
Yeah.
I missed the first lockdown when we had Tiger King.
Yeah. Straight in the barrel now.
And finally, a very good girl is living her very best life after the 8-year-old border collie Lulu inherited $5 million after her owner made Lulu specifically the sole beneficiary of his estate. She's said to be swimming in a pool of doggy treats and has enough gold chains for the whole pack. $5 million for a dog. Okay, so joining us to discuss all of that and more is, well, I have to introduce myself first. How many have we done this? Thought I was getting better at it. Never mind. My name's Adonis, and it's a very good hello from me. And joining us to discuss all this and more is our mate Barney.
Hello, you all right, mate?
I'm very good, thank you, Barney. And also our man on the post, Ross.
Hello.
Hello. So, guys, how was that? How was the week?
Yeah, the weekend was shit, wasn't it, basically? Started with Josh Warrington and Leeds finished it off in a 1-2 doubleheader of shitness. Yeah, not good. The boxing really depressed me. So I was so excited to see Josh fight. And it's been, 16 months since his last fight, and he came out looking slow and rusty and got knocked out. Awful.
I'm a boxing expert, but when he got knocked out, he looked like he shouldn't have been carrying on anyway in the first place when he first got hit. I was listening to the news last night about it, and one of the experts was saying this is the time for him to really decide if he wants to come back and box again, because it's not just about his boxing future, it's actually about his future with his wife and kids and family and things. So it's going to be a testing time to see what he does now.
Yeah, just stop him fighting in London, get back to Ellen Road, get Bradley in his corner. He'd be fine. Yeah,
I mean, to me, it felt, I know this is a football podcast, and there's probably some people zoning out right about now, but I mean, Josh is very Leeds, isn't he?
It's a Leeds podcast.
Yeah. We often go off track, so you can bear with us. But to me, he looked like he was defending as soon as he came out there. He didn't look like his normal self. Normally, he gets out there and he's just like throwing in punch after punch after punch, left, right, and it's just so intense. There was none of that, really. There was almost no punches with his right hand, I noticed as well. He was just kind of throwing with his left. He shouldn't have been there.
He cut the guy on the left eye, and then his right eye, and just focused on that for the entire fight. And he was just slow and hesitant, which is not what we're used to seeing with him. Like you say, Donnie, he comes out and he just throws the punches. One of the hardest working boxers there is. And it just looked really weird. The whole thing was odd with no crowd. As much as I miss the crowds of football, boxing needs a crowd. It's not good without a crowd.
Yeah. Josh is the kind of boxer that can get you off your seat, you know?
Yeah, big time.
Like, you know, I don't do that with any boxing match, you know. No. But I mean, he's just so exciting normally, and it was the complete opposite.
Yeah. And then the Arsenal game, that was fun, wasn't it? Fucking hell.
The first half was very much like the Josh Warrington fight, very lackluster.
Yeah.
Leeds were attacking. It was very much Arsenal all the way. We just very similar sort of performance. It's fucking London again, though, isn't it? It's just. But obviously, we'll probably talk about that later on. But it's just, not right.
That whole first half was just a mess. Like, I thought it was a penalty that Cooper gave away. I thought there was enough there to give that as a penalty. The Melier one, I thought couldn't have given us not a penalty. The referee seemed just to not know what was going on. And then that Bellerin goal, they were just knocking it around our box with no one getting anywhere near him. So that was the one that pissed me off. And I turned off after that. I saw the highlights of Stroik's goal and Costa's goal on Twitter after the game because that Bellerin goal really pissed me off. Meslier getting beaten at his near post like Geeko. Brought back horrible flashes I didn't want to associate with Melier, unfortunately.
Yeah, I really don't know about this whole curse thing. I mean, I know it's been a consistent meme, not just this season, but the last 3 years. I do feel like it's very, in the cold, harsh light of day, it's very illogical. It's some kind of weird superstition. It's like when somebody's got a lucky shirt, I often think that the players themselves and the coach have a lot to do with the result of a game rather than your shirt you're wearing,
Yeah. Largely, teams in London are quite good. Chelsea are decent, West Ham are decent, Spurs are decent, Arsenal are all right. The Palace one's one that annoyed me. 4-1, we didn't deserve to lose that. And we got to play Fulham again at Fulham this season. We're going to win there, aren't we, and break this curse, because that's the one I'm eyeing up now. That's where we're going to break this curse and move on from there.
Yeah, you'd hope so.
Yeah,
because
if we don't, then it is a fucking curse.
I mean, it's more like our performances somehow. Somehow our performances dip, and for seemingly no reason. And was it Bamford was saying that the players know that they don't win in London? And
shouldn't be a thing, should it? They shouldn't be even thinking about that.
Yeah, it's it. I mean, we're partly responsible for beating on about it, and
it's sometimes when they go to London, though, it's like they're going on a European tour. They're like 2 or 3 hours in time, and they're knackered from the journey or something. They just always look so jaded and knackered in the game. Really lackluster. I know we joke about it, and it must play on players' minds, saying, "All right, it's 2017 since we last played," and a lot of those players are still at the club, knowing that as well. So there must be something logical in their head, thinking, "Why are we not winning at London?" And it must play on your head. Must play on.
We've only got 2 trips left to London: one to West Ham and one to Fulham. One of them's winnable. West Ham are a real Jekyll and Hyde team that are doing well this year, but. Yeah.
Well, Donny knows my opinion on West Ham, so I'd rather beat West Ham than Fulham.
Yeah, it's another irrational hatred. Yeah. Speaking of irrational hatreds, Ross, you've been all over Twitter today. Yeah. It was Pancake Tuesday.
Yeah.
You're probably hearing this on Wednesday. I'm not that quick at editing, although I'm trying. You've been all over Twitter with your pancake bashing. I've seen you.
They're just the worst. They're so overrated. That much effort to make something that shit is just not worth it at all. Make that batter up, fine. Stick it in the oven with some sausages and gravy. There you go. Half an hour in the oven. You bang on. That's a fine mix. But don't just stick it in a frying pan for 2 minutes with some oil on it. No, disgusting. Not worth it.
You've said the magic words there. Sausages and gravy.
Sausages. Yeah, exactly.
I don't care what opinion you have. If you throw sausages and gravy at me, I'm going to agree with you.
Make your thin, shitty pancakes, but cover them in gravy and put sausages on top of them, and you're fine. I just think, there's a whole day dedicated to really shit food. When's sausage day? I'll be all over that. I love sausages.
There's actual sausage week, though, isn't there?
Is there? Oh, that's all right. They've got a whole
week. Yeah.
That's fine, but I mean, they're just so rubbish for a whole day to be dedicated to them.
There are some
nonsense, absolute nonsense.
There are some girls' DMs where it's British Sausage Week every week.
I mean,
if you're doing
largely
that,
Twitter has disagreed with me. Twitter has largely disagreed with me.
If you are out there DMing these poor girls with your fucking sausages. Just give it a rest, would you?
Yeah.
Does that work? Has it ever worked? Jesus.
Yeah, what are you hoping for? What's the best outcome it's going to be from that? Oh, yeah, nice penis. And on we go with our day.
But it's like if the pubs were open again, you'd like try to shut up a woman. You wouldn't go, "Hey up, look at this beauty." Would you? So why send a picture?
Yeah, it is an odd thing.
Oi, look at this! I just don't.
We laugh about it, but it's wrong. It is wrong.
Yeah. It falls under the banner. Don't be a cunt.
Yeah. This is the podcast of seamless segues this week. Because that's the exact next thing on the agenda. So, marching out together are doing a raffle. I mean, we talked about it last week. Was it last week? Or was it?
It was, yeah, just a week ago.
Was it the one before?
It was before the Leicester game, so just over a week ago, 2 weeks ago, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
31st of Jan.
That's right, yeah. So, not the last main cast, but the one before. And that was LGBT History Month celebration, Leeds United the musical. You'll know it from the cover where Jack Harrison is ice skating on our new pitch. And Marching Out Together are doing a raffle of a Marching Out Together t-shirt, which was worn in the warm-up of a football game against another football team, which I clearly know many details of. And they're raffling it to raise money. And the club have tweeted out in support of that. And there are just the most hideous comments proving exactly why it needs to happen again. So what do we do about this? Consequences? Does there have to be consequences to doing something wrong? Is this a novel idea?
No, you get taught that from a very young age. I hope I'm teaching my 6-year-old that there's consequences to bad behaviour. People we know have been banned from Twitter for days and weeks for saying cunt. Yet these guys are allowed to just spew their hate on a tweet as simple as trying to raise money for some charity. Just for a football shirt with a round rainbow pattern on it. Big deal. Like if that is offending you, then I feel really bad for you. The closet you're in must be so small you can't breathe. It's awful.
Right.
For me, it must be so tiring to be so angry about something that's not affecting you in whatsoever. Mm-hmm. And I mean, one of the replies was, "Why are you ramming it down our throats?" Which is quite ironic anyway.
One tweet. Literally one tweet.
And they're saying you're ramming it down my throat, and my brother is gay. Well, it's like saying it's like saying don't take the knee. I've got a black friend though. It's just people are just thick.
Yeah, it's the John Terry.
I think because certain people have got so much time on their hands now, the only way of them talking nowadays is through social media. You can have one person who just wants to be there to have a laugh, to get a few likes and stuff, like myself, and then there's other people who just abuse people just for the sake of abusing, just to be in that little circle of friends or whatever. And I do think some of the accounts are linked to some accounts as well. I do think that one account will tweet something, then they say, "Right, you do it now. See if you can be a little bit more edgier with it." And it's all very well in consequences. But recently there was, I can't remember the black player, but he got they found the person who'd been abusing him online. And all Facebook says you're not allowed to send any messages at the moment. Yeah. Oh well, that's all right then. I'll just set up a new account. I'll be fine again. It's just so easy just to do it again.
Yeah.
I mean, racist abuse is against the law, isn't it? If you get found guilty of that, I mean, you're going to court, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, and then so that's one thing. So there's real world consequences that apparently don't apply to Twitter. It's just this like strongly worded message. Then the other thing is this whole ramming it down my throat. Well, if somebody was ramming it down your throat, mate, you'd probably know about it.
You'd be fuming, wouldn't they?
You would. Leeds United's Twitter account has put out 398,000 423 tweets. I would hazard a guess that there would be less than 1,000 of those. Even, and that's probably there's probably less
That's
than 500.
hugely optimistic as well.
Yeah. This is extremely conservative. That have anything to do with LGBT rights. I fail to see how they can be accused of ramming it down anybody's throats. And the other thing is, when do people like have this self-realization that, oh, it's me. I'm the one. I'm the reason why they're saying all this stuff. I'm the reason why they can't stop talking about it.
Yeah.
It's that we don't want to fucking talk about it. I want to fucking talk about Leeds.
Yeah. It's just sad, isn't it?
It goes back to the worst chant I absolutely hate, and every time they chant it, I never chant it, is all Leeds, aren't we? Because we're not, are we? I mean, you can see the hate online already about people don't like you, people don't like me, or whatever. All Leeds, aren't we? Well, no, we're not. It's just, and I don't get it, because we're there for what, I know it sounds really corny. We're there for one love, because we love Leeds United and we want to see them do well. But no, let's just chuck in a bit of hate and a bit of, we don't like gays, we don't like blacks and stuff like that. I just don't get it. It just must be really sad to be in that person's head.
There's a tribalism.
That's right to do that.
It's a tribalism, isn't it? And that's, we all have that in us, probably because, we were in tribes for hundreds of thousands of years, and it was, that was directly dependent upon our survival. Being in a tribe, a strong tribe with a strong group of lads, mainly lads, but women as well. But, the lads would protect the tribe. So you'd have to be like, proud of your tribe, and find a good group, and who you could go to war with, But where it goes wrong is when you turn sexuality into your football team. And all of a sudden you're team heterosexual and you're going in chanting at the other ones, oh, your sexual preference is shit. No. If you only fuck women, clap your hands. We love Leeds United. And when I was 7 years old and I went to Ellen Road for the first time, and there were 35,000 people around me, all singing with one voice, all cheering at the same time. But when Brian Deane scored that goal against Manchester United, and there were literally, 35,000 people going, Dino, and this feeling of a community and being together, that's all Leeds, aren't we? That's who we are. And anything else, being tribal about anything else, is like, takes away from that. And to me, that's the beautiful thing about Leeds and being a football fan, is that community. And I hope that we can get back to that and concentrate on that, because all of this other stuff is just bullshit.
Yeah. All these guys tweeting these responses, they must have hated last year's kit with some pink on it. Must have been fuming at that.
They're probably sending the tweet while wearing that shirt as well.
Probably. That example of the Dino goal against Man United, everyone loving it in the moment, but there must have been people there that were fuming that he scored it because he was a black player, and why couldn't Gary McAllister have scored that goal? Like it underlines everything they think, that black players aren't as good as white players and gay players, who we don't know who they are. If anyone comes out, God, they're also going to be the worst player ever. They're not going to be as good as a straight player. It's just a baffling sense of how you live your life. I can't understand it.
There was a comment on Facebook saying stick to football. And it goes back to your point, Donny, about community, is that when they finally get back in the ground and they go to that local paper shop, or part of their routine is to go to that pub, the pub was closed down now because there's no football. That's what football is. It's a community where it keeps businesses thriving. Also, I mean, we saw what happened when Bates was there. There was businesses going out of business because Bates wasn't paying wages to those businesses. And it's not just about 22 men kicking a ball. It is about a whole community. And that's what Leeds United's been built on, a community as well.
Yeah. Yep. Too right. And so what do we do about it, you ask? Well, this is what you do about it. You have to prove your identity if you want to have a Twitter account. And you have to do it with your passport or some form of formal identification. And when you say fucked up, stupid shit on there, then you're held accountable.
You get found out for it. Yeah, exactly.
And
I don't want Twitter to be an echo chamber, but I want there to be ramifications for this nonsense because it's fucking 2021 and there's more serious things to worry about.
Yeah, I don't want, Ross, you talked about bringing your daughter to Ellen Road and wanting her to be in a safe environment.
Yeah.
I want these people to be banned for life from Ellen Road until such a time as they go through a re-education process, because clearly that's what they're missing. But there needs to be consequences first. That should be the first thing. There's 20,000 people waiting for a season ticket. There's plenty of people. You don't need to have the fucking idiots in. You can have some kind of filtration process. Right, that's it. I'm done with it now.
Send them rainbow tickets, and if they don't want to get in, they can't use them, can they?
Yeah. So, yeah. I feel like Bernie Sanders. I am once again asking for you to support marching out together. I feel like we do a lot on this podcast. We have done a lot, I feel like, to champion these things. And I really want to do a main cast about racism and how that has affected players in the past. And we actually tried to get one of the players, one of the black players from the past on the show, but he's going through some tough times at the moment. So you just don't really know. So it's not that I haven't wanted to address it, or that we don't think that that's important, or that we're trying to give favor to LGBT or whatever. We've touched on a range of issues, and we'll continue to do that because we think it's important in order to try and bring that community spirit back. Okay, now all very serious and not very entertaining. So Wolves then. We should have beaten them, shouldn't we? Earlier in the season.
We should.
It was a deflected
Calvin's
shot.
top knot.
Yeah, off Calvin's top knot.
It was early in the season, wasn't it? And it was one of those teams that found out if they could play against us by counter-attacking, and we just weren't taking our chances again. Hopefully this time round will be better, and we've understood how to play against them. But they've been shit since they've played us as well. They struggled against Southampton, didn't they? I think was it a draw in the end against Southampton?
No, they won 2-1. They were one down though, but Saints did dominate the game, more possession, more shots.
Yeah.
Ross, your thoughts on Wolves?
Yeah, Wolves are just, I don't know. Yeah, they're supposed to be this big attacking team that we're going to model ourselves on, and they've got all these exciting players, but I don't see it. They've won less games than us this year. They've lost only one less game than us. They don't score many goals, only 25 to our 40. They're one place below us and 2 points behind us. So, yeah, their form's all over the place. One drawn, lost, one drawn. Like they are the least consistent team in the entire league, it looks like. I just want to beat them because they shouldn't be a model of what we're aiming for. They're Wolves. They're a championship team in my heart. They're not a Premier League team. We shouldn't be looking at them as a model. We should be looking above and beyond them. So, yeah, let's just beat them, shall we? It's Friday. It's in Wolves. It's not in London, so there's a chance to win at least.
Yeah, they're like the Portuguese B team.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Yeah, they've got a lot of expensive players that don't do an awful lot for them.
They've been a team where they've been overachieving the last couple of seasons, and now they seem to have not invested a lot, or I don't know if Santos has got to a point where he can't move the team forward anymore. they need a change of coaching role. But they was talking about this season getting into the top 6, top 4, and obviously the way off that, and it could be another hard season next season for them because of their main players being out injured as well, aren't they? That's where they've fallen off with the form as well.
Yeah, his goal got caved in, unfortunately for him. They've got a player in there called Taylor Perry, but Taylor is spelled TAY''LOR. That's not how you spell a name, is it?
Okay. Parents were drunk scribbling in the birth certificate. The form.
Yeah, I think I've never seen that before. We're going to win.
We have somebody at the door. It's knock, 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 and it's Stats. This will be a first, hopefully, in a regular little segment. Gee, Stats, you're more beardy than I am.
Hello.
You're more beardy than we're all beardy.
It's coming on.
It's coming on. It's there.
It's there.
You've got to grow it on you.
He's off.
Look at what lockdown's done to us, mate.
I know. Hopefully there's a way out. Hopefully Doris will set a plan out on Monday, but we'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
Yep. Well, that's what he's known for, setting out plans.
Yeah. Whether they work or not, Barney, I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see.
He's got roadmaps coming out.
Something like that.
He brings out a new plan every couple of days, doesn't he? So there's a new segment then with Stats, and hopefully we're going to try and emulate Fantasy Football League, which was a show in the 90s, in the mid-90s. So we're basically just completely ripping that off. And they used to chant, "Stato, Stato." I'm wondering what chant we can have for you, Stats.
Fatto. No, I'm kidding. You've got to laugh.
Oh no. I'm sadistic, but I'm not that cruel.
Harsh, harsh. I don't know what
well,
that's all, folks.
Stats all, folks.
You need to come on in your PJs.
Not bad at all.
There you go.
If you have a suggestion of what chant we can have for Stats, leave it in the comments or get in touch via Twitter. So, Stats, you're going to fill us in on some stats, supposedly?
Yes.
Probably?
Yes.
It seems like the correct thing for you to be doing.
Seems on brand.
Yes.
Yeah, right, on brand. That's the word. Thanks for helping me out there, Ross. I was floundering. Okay, so maybe some stats with Arsenal and London then.
Yeah.
To start off with.
Where do you start? It's getting beyond ridiculous, isn't it? This record in the capital. I think it's now 15 games without a win in London since we beat QPR on December the 9th, 2017. 2 wins, 13 defeats. It's when you pull it like that, it's incredible. The 2 draws that we had, I think we had 1 draw at Brentford, which was actually massive last season, and we had a draw at Millwall in Bielsa's first season. But the record, I don't know what it is. I don't know when they go down the A1, what happens. I don't know if it's mental or what really, but they just don't seem to have a very good record in London. I remember Newcastle back in the early 90s, Arsenal in 2001-2 had an abysmal record in the capital. Bizarre, isn't it? It's just one of those strange idiosyncrasies in football that you can't really explain as to why we can't win in London. But we've got 2 more opportunities at Fulham and West Ham. So you're hoping, the way it's going, that maybe one of them. I think West Ham will be a very difficult game because they're playing very well at the moment. Beat a very posh Sheffield United side last time out. But hopefully Fulham is the one that gives Leeds an opportunity to finally end abysmal record in the capital, because if Brentford come up next season, I think it's another one to add to the list. We don't win at Brentford. I think we've won at Brentford since the 50s. So there you go.
They ain't coming up. Promotion's not one of their things, so don't do that.
But it's a new stadium, so You never know with the Brentford Community Stadium if they do come up. So we'll break it somewhere. We don't expect it to, but it's just very bizarre, this record down south in London.
Indeed. And so before the next main cast, we will be playing Wolves and Southampton. Do you have any stats for these two upcoming games?
I do. For Wolves, it's another funny ground for Leeds. In the top flight, Leeds have only won 6 times out of 29 at Molineux. The last top flight victory at Wolves came in season 73-74, and we all know what happened that season. They went on to win the league. They won that game by 2-0. Mick Jones and Alan Clark were the goal scorers. Our last Premier League goal scorer up at Molineux was one Michael Dubry in a 3-1 defeat. Yeah, Michael Dubry indeed. In a 3-1 defeat back just after Christmas 2003. Don Macho saw red in that game as well. And that was the kind of game that set Leeds on the way to the real dip that saw them back in the end up in the Division 1, the Championship then, because I went on, I think, a 6-game losing streak after having a reasonable time at the start of December, and they obviously got relegated into that season. As for Southampton, a real strange one with Southampton, one of the few teams, I think, along with Leicester and Brighton, that will have played in the Premier League, the Championship, and League One. Of course, played in the League One in 2009-10, playing in the Championship in many a season. And the thing with Southampton is it's the latest in a season that we've played a team for the first time, if that makes sense. Yeah. Because obviously we were due to play them in January. Prior to that, it was Middlesbrough in season 2001-2 when we played them in February, drew 2-2 at the Riverside. I think Poland scored the most flukiest goal you'll ever see. That bounced over Nigel Martin, and they played Middlesbrough on the last day of the 2001-2 season, which was David O'Leary's last game in charge. So a few little quirks of fate, but it's an opportunity these next 2 games to try and get some more points on them. But look, I'm not worried. I think if you're a Newcastle United fan, I think you'd be worried. They've got some big games coming up. Fulham have got some very winnable games coming up. So it just gives Leeds an opportunity with the Wolves game and Southampton game, who we beat in League One. Last league victory against Southampton was in League One in 2009-10. Ironically, the last time we played them in the league, the Robert Snodgrass goal, brilliant curl into the top corner. So it's just an opportunity to get 3 points. The last top flight victory at home to Southampton was at the start of the 2001-2 campaign on the open day of the season through goals off the top of my head from Lee Bowyer and a brilliant turn from Alan Smith. So, we're hoping to get still results and get some more points to try and get to the 40-point mark as quick as possible.
I remember a game at the Dell when I think Bridges scored a hat-trick in the game, but Mark Hughes, he scored, but it wasn't counted because of how close the boards were, weren't they, behind the goal?
Game of the season, it was actually Eclipse. And the Eclipse certainly helped Leeds that night because Mark Hughes actually hit a shot. It actually bounced out. It hit the back of the net. It hit the hoardings behind the back of the net, bounced out, and nobody'd seen it. No, VAR would have given 20 or what have you. But
table football.
But
it was a table football goal.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it went in the goal. It hit the advertising hoarding, and then it bounced straight out of the goal.
Blew back out.
The ref had missed it. Didn't count. Play on, lads.
There is a brilliant clip. Bizarre. And I think at that stage it was 1-0 to Leeds, but that was Michael Bridges' first hat-trick for the club. His first, I think, only hat-trick for the club. A brilliant player. And obviously Leeds went on to have a magnificent season, 99-2000. And it was also the debut of that Lazio shirt. If you
love that shirt.
Remember, I had a sky blue, pale blue shirt, which was lovely. So, some real memories of Southampton. And the one thing I always remember with Southampton, I know it was an away game, I know we're not away this time, was the one appearance of one Ali Dyer.
Oh, yeah.
Who had this brilliant story that he convinced Graham Souness that he's Broadway's cousin. He came on for Matt Letitia. He got an injury. And I can't remember if Dyer lasted the game or not. I think he did. And
he was subbed back off.
Yeah. I remember that.
Very, very. To convince someone, Graham Souness, George Weah's cousin, he must have some bottle to do that. And He never played for Southampton ever again after that.
Every time I see Souness on Sky giving out about something, I always think, yeah, but you were tricked by shut up.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a nice little story with Southampton and Leeds, but I say it's important. Look, we're how many points clear? 14 points clear the bottom three. Just need a couple more wins and we're done and dusted and can start looking ahead for next season and looking to the summer transfer window.
Fantastic. All right, so and to round off your little segment each week.
Yes.
I had this idea of maybe like, what's your thing? Kind of like, what's the thing that you're most excited about this week? Is it, is it a new is it a new brand of sausage, or is it a new TV show you've started watching, or a book you've started reading, or what's your thing?
The one thing I'm excited about is this time next week is Emma's birthday. She thinks she's 21
Emma
again. She is my wonderful other half. I'm not going to reveal her age because she'll absolutely kill me, but it's not 21. Sorry, darling. And I'm looking forward to surprising with a few little surprises, maybe a couple from the football club that she'll have to watch this space for on the 23rd of February. So that's my one big thing to look forward to this week. There'll be more next week. I'm sure there'll be stuff on, but I'm actually getting into Game of Thrones. I need to really get back into that. So that's kind of
Patrick Bamford.
She wishes.
Bamford.
She wishes.
Patrick Bamford.
So yeah, all good. Looking forward to that. And yeah, it's going to be it's a busy week with 2 games in a week, and also Friday night. An opportunity for Leeds to get 3 points on Friday night, like they did at Villa Park back in October.
Well, look at you for your first thing of the week.
Yes,
it being the better half.
Yes.
And how much credit have you got now in the bank? I mean, it's only 2 days after Valentine's Day.
My bread fucking $1. I'm not keep it sweet.
Well, that's absolutely brilliant. What a segment. What a segment. What a debut. Yeah. What a debut segment. I loved it.
Thank you. I should be more of the same next week, all being well.
Yes, hopefully. Well, thank you very much, Stats. Have a lovely week. Enjoy the games, and we'll see you next week.
We shall. Cheers, boys.
Cheers,
see you later.
Bye-bye. Well, that was Stats. How was that?
Good
stuff.
Like
that?
Good stuff.
Yeah, I enjoy that. I used to love fantasy football on a Friday night there. I used to love it.
I mean, it was so good. I was just rewatching a couple of the old episodes to get some ideas for the pod. And
has it aged well?
And it's aged quite well, actually. Surprisingly, there's a lot of references from the time, so you have to.
I'm worried if it came on TV, it'd get cancelled. Like one of those things that gets cancelled.
It wasn't really like that, though, was it? It wasn't really edgy or sexist or like anything like that. It was just a bit of banter between 2 blokes in shitty chairs in a studio. Studio, wasn't it? Really,
it's quite silly. Yeah. I tuned in, I think it was episode 2 of the 95-96 season, and it just one thing really tickled me. He just said, it's really one of the many throwaway lines that they did. They're so brilliant. And he just goes, "Oh, David O'Leary impression." I don't know why that was so funny. I just thought, oh my God, that's so funny. But he was playing for Arsenal at the time as well. They were talking about Paul Merson doing cocaine, and he was wearing a Paul Merson Arsenal top with a bunch of white powder all on the front of it. No, I might
head to the park with my daughter and recreate some classic goals.
Yeah, that was the thing that I thought we could do as well. Barney, you mentioned it in the group chat as well. So one of the things that they did, if you are too young to remember Fantasy Football League, it was a show, a late night football show, about fantasy football, but also everything else. And they would have little segments that they did, sketches where they dress up and impersonate different characters. And they had one segment called Phoenix from the Flames, I think it is, and that's where they would recreate some famous goals. So I thought that eventually we could do that. for Leeds United goals.
Yeah, give that a go.
We could probably find a better pitch than Ellen Road as well, actually.
There's quite a lot of episodes on YouTube, actually, so that's my evening sorted, Donny. Thanks for that.
Yeah, blast from the past. I've just been started showing the Mrs. Red Dwarf. She's never seen it.
Oh wow!
So, yeah, we've started at the start, and that's aged well as well. Maybe I'm just aging badly.
Don't show her the new stuff though.
Well, he scored a hat-trick against us, didn't he, on a Sunday?
What, the cat?
Cat, yeah. Yeah.
Crikey.
I'll be watching Minder. I'll be recording Minder. Brilliant.
I just heard somebody call Strauch Crichton after those
because of his heads.
headers. Okay. Well, if we were ever in the weeds, here we are, stuck in the weeds, talking about Red Dwarf and Fantasy Football League, and it's time for final thoughts. I guess there wasn't really a theme to this one, was there? It was just random topics thrown in there altogether. Pancakes, maybe.
Yeah, they fall under my banner of don't be a cunt and like pancakes. But,
Don't be a cunt about pancakes. The new campaign from the Roaring
Peacock. Your good lady tweeted me with a recipe to make pancakes better, but that sounds nice, but that would be even better with just bread rather than the pancakes. Get rid of the pancakes, put bread between your ham and cheese, and it sounds even better.
Right. It's a sandwich, essentially.
Exactly.
But all pancakes matter.
Right.
Let's not forget this.
Granny Val is trending on Twitter as well right now.
Well, I'd hope so. And that was the one thing that pissed me off, honestly, when I heard that. I was like, no more. You know, this is like 2021's becoming like BTEC 2020, and just basically, you know, there's no Tiger King now. It's free Britney Spears. Fucking great, entertaining, and now you know Val's in trouble, and and it looks like Wilson's just got out of hospital as well. It's like, no, all these people that I absolutely love and adore, I've never met, and I don't know, and probably never will, may meet sometime in the future. But you know, you love them from afar as these kind of figureheads in our community. Yeah. And oh my God,
we need Wilson. We need Wilson. I don't want our official account to become as mundane and dull as every other team's official account.
Yeah, he represents us all, doesn't he? He really nails it sometimes. Like just being a Leeds fan, it makes you so proud.
Yeah.
I think it showed that he wasn't tweeting on Sunday as well, because the tweets were very baits. It was just a tweet and that was it about the game. During the course of the game, there was no picture or anything like that. It was just very, very 10 years ago sort of Twitter.
Yeah.
Very boring.
And Calvin's the heart and soul of the club, you know, and Val is like the heart and soul of Calvin. And I just feel like the whole thing is just way too close to home. And it's just one thing too many, you know, with Jack and Norman and everything. Now it's just like, no, can we just not have any more deaths, please? Oh, God.
Yeah, please. Just on Calvin quickly, he's made his 200th appearance. I reckon, I obviously hope he makes his entire Leeds career, just his entire career at Leeds. Where do you think he'll get to in terms of appearances? Because he's closing in on some kind of, like, Lee Bowyer is about 40 appearances away. He can overtake that probably in next season, but then there's a kind of a big jump to Gary Kelly at 500 and something, 531 for Gary Kelly. Do you think he can ever approach that?
If we get a few cup runs during the next
few years, do we?
Yeah, then maybe, but probably not.
Yeah.
You know,
historically, not something we tend to just spend much time on.
You never know. You never know. We might win a cup. Oh, I fucking love that. Me win the FA Cup.
If we got relegated again, we play more games in the Championship.
Yeah, there's an option, Barney, but he might leave then. So, you know.
Good point. Yeah. But if we got into the Champions League,
even more games.
More games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have the treble next season.
Yeah. Go on then. Go on. Go on then.
Send it on that. A bit of positivity.
We'll take it. Yeah. Yeah, we should. We should. I mean, final thoughts if you want.
Yeah, I'm with Barney. Let's do the treble next year.
Okay, the treble it is. Barney?
Treble it is, I think. Yeah. Sounds good to me. Yeah.
Treble it is, boys. That is a fucking high note to end on. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed that as much as we did. Click on subscribe, and we'll try and see you in the comments this time. We've been incredibly busy, so I haven't been able to get into the chat for the premieres. But don't fear, we haven't forgotten about you. I'll come back. I'll reply to your comments. I'll at you, so you know that you know that I've been there. We love you, every single listener.
Pardon?
Hey, we love you.
You'll at them, so you've been there, so you know you've been there.
Sounds
a bit rude, that.
Yeah, there you go. There's no way you can ghost me because you'll get a notification. Anyway, and we're on Twitter as well, at Peacocks Raw. So yeah, if you want to go into the prize, we'll be giving this away. Pablo Hernandez, he's a good player, isn't he?
Ooh, he is.
I
hero.
I wouldn't mind him on the wall, and I also wouldn't mind him on the pitch. So you
be
can
nice,
go
wouldn't
in with a chance to win that if you subscribe to the YouTube channel and leave a comment, or if you follow us on Twitter at Peacocks Raw. So that was your podcast. That's your lot. You're not getting any more. So best tune out now. My name's Adonis, and I'm from at the Adelites on Twitter, and it's a very goodbye from me. And joining us today was at Barney ___21.
Leeds.
Is that an addition to your Twitter tag?
Let's see how it flowed really nicely then.
I see you. Yeah. I see what you're doing. And at Russbell1984 was with us as well.
Subscribe, you dickheads. And remember, don't be a cunt.
Yeah, don't be a cunt. Come on, Leeds! Head on! Most of our stats come from LUFC Stats or LUFC Data on Twitter. A very special thanks to Barney Stewart, Cook, Ewan and Howard Metcalf, Josh Pearson, Laura, Leon and Rob, The Light Show, and all our family and friends.
So many games to play, don't care what's on your mind.